your role is so valuable because, like, first of all, like if the kids by itself, without even having a W two job, the kids by itself is a job, like a nonstop job, and I think it goes so undervalued from entrepreneurs sometimes. Like when say the husband, and they don't value how much their wife committed to the relationship because not only is she taking care of the kids, she's also having a job that's also stabilizing our income in our household just in case I can't produce, right? And so I'm like, because if a kid come with me, I'm like, hey, I don't like 20 minutes with this kid. I'm like, hey, bro, I don't know how you do this. Take this one back. Everything we've been doing. Today we're gonna talk about something I feel like we dealt with.
I feel like I don't know if I know. I think I know where you're going, but I don't.
I mean, we do. So basically, it's love, basically marriage. But it didn't have to be marriage. It can be marriage. It can be, single life, but dating someone and also having a business. How do you kind of balance that kind of lifestyle?
So this is for the entrepreneurs who are dating.
Yeah.
So the self-employed who are dating.
Yeah, but I think we're going to dig into it a little bit deeper. Little bit deeper because I think it's mainly dealing with someone like I know, and I don't want to get hate from the women when saying this, but generally just kind of getting the conversation out there, usually it's the men that are like the providers, the entrepreneurs, and the women that are the nurturers, the ones that are staying home with the kids type of. So I'm gonna just
like the traditional expectation.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be saying it from that perspective. Now,
just
okay, go ahead.
Because, like you said, somebody might. I don't want to say take it out of context, but things are different.
Yeah,
because you do have some, like, for example, you might be married. Well, not even just that. Like people who might go to school for different things, or people who have different interests. Maybe both of you are like, entrepreneurial mindset or self-employed, or is the goal, and maybe like your idea doesn't make as much money as my idea.
Sure. Yeah.
So, like, are you speaking to that too, or just the traditional?
Not even necessarily that, because I want to even go in to the point where it's like, say that, like, okay, if I have a vision and I have a pursuit that I want to start this business, I want to do it. It's to a point. If you're in a relationship, we both can't be doing that. We both can't be struggling trying to figure out our vision and get that going, because it takes time to do that. Not to say that you can't be like an instant entrepreneur and you like got a business growing.
So two people in the struggle boat, they don't need to be together.
No, okay, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that one of you guys got to be responsible enough to say, "Hey, look, I'm gonna have a job to make us at least stable." Like why one of us or if not both of us.
Somebody needs to be holding it down somehow.
Yeah, because I mean.
So what if two people who are starting a business are both struggling or dating?
I mean, you gotta guys have that hard conversation sometimes where it's like, we gotta eat, bro.
Every conversation
we gotta live somewhere.
Hard.
We gotta live somewhere. Okay. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, you gotta be responsible enough to like, hey, if we're gonna be dating, like we gotta live somewhere. Like we gotta have some food to eat. We gotta have some kind of transportation.
I feel like if you are both would have the goal of being self-employed or working for yourself, I think the biggest thing that can help you is I don't want to say living on the bare minimum, but you better be cutting back.
Yeah,
that is not the time for y'all to be going to Mexico.
Yeah, of course. That's what any situation.
You better not be out there looking for no brand new car.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean,
y'all are not getting a one bedroom. It's a studio. Like,
there's nothing wrong with that at all.
No, there's not. But I'm just saying,
I think it's just mindful to know that if one of you guys are starting a business, and I want to focus on the relationship based off of that kind of I don't know what to call that situation, right? Mm-hmm. So say one's trying to start a business and say that, I'm thriving, right? And I'm doing my thing, my business is starting to pick up. And, I go to these network meetups, these dinners, these luncheons, right? And of course I'm meeting other I'll say genders, because this can apply for men and women. I'm meeting other genders that are in that area, in that arena that I'm loving, and I'm having conversations with them, and it's stimulating, and it's like inspiring, and I'm like, this is what I want from my spouse. Like, not even necessarily want from my spouse, but I love engaging in conversation with you, and I can have this all day long. And then what I see a lot of entrepreneurs doing is that when they get that a little taste of that, they come back home to their spouse and they're like almost belittling them or like looking down on them because they're not at that level or have that same that same kind of conversation and talk with the other kind of person they saw there. Because that's like, oh, that's my dream kind of person, right?
You feel like that happens that often?
Yes, 100%. Absolutely. I've seen it happen. That's how I know.
You feel like that was our situation?
No, because I think only reason I say no is because I didn't really care that much about. I'm just thankful that you're open. I don't think I would date an entrepreneur, even though I'm trying to make you in a sense. But like but you're a different type. And what I mean by that is that you're not such more like a. I hate using this word like alpha female type of thing. It's not that I'm afraid of that. It's just that it's not my preference. In a woman. I love a nurturing woman that is more submissive in a good way, and stuff like that.
I feel like people are going to hear that and hear slave.
It's not, you're not a slave at all. Like, if anything, I ask permission to do anything with you and things like that. And I think that's just knowing our roles in like our marriage.
Yeah.
I don't think that you feel like I'm enslaving you.
No.
But
I would say I think even though you are not like I'm not that bothered working a regular job, a 9 to 5. It just doesn't fit my life right now with having 2 small kids.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest reason.
That's a job in itself.
It is.
It is like
that's why one has to go and it can't be the kids. So it's going to be the regular 9 to 5. And that, but for me, my motivation is not like, oh, I don't want to work for anybody. So, but like that's more of your mindset. Like you don't really want to work for anybody.
Yeah.
But I think. I don't know. I guess like maybe me not being, or honestly, I was comfortable working a 9 to 5. Really, a 7 to 3 is it's a 7 to 3, but
7 to 3:45. So
almost a 7 to 7 to be honest. Yeah. But I guess I don't know if it even makes sense. But like at least I'm responsible with my money.
No, that's the thing about it. So I think you should value your role. Like that's you're really good at that.
So I feel like even though that wasn't like your way of wanting to make money, you're like, well, at least she's managing it fine. So if that's what you're going to be doing it, like at least do it well. Yeah. So. And
I think what I wanted to like say with that is that your role is so valuable because like first of all like if the kids by itself without even having a W job, the kids by itself is a job, like a nonstop job. And I think it goes so undervalued from entrepreneurs sometimes, like when, say, the husband, and they don't value how much their wife is committed to a relationship. Because not only is she taking care of the kids, she's also having a job that's also stabilizing our income in our household, just in case I can't produce, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, because if a kid comes with me, I'm like, hey, 20 minutes with this kid, I'm like, hey, bro, I don't know how you do this. Take this one back. What is this? But I don't know how you do that all day long. I don't know how you take care of the kids, but like I'm good at what I'm good at. Like I'm good at the business thing.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
And you're good at what you're good at.
I feel like now's a good time to tell a story.
Okay, go ahead. Story.
Last night, Elijah didn't sleep that well. Uh-huh. And so I was up like 3 times in the middle of the night. Yeah, Keep in mind, I wake up at 5 a.m. for work. So this morning when I asked you, I was like, oh, how'd you sleep last night? You're like, man, that was the best sleep I got all night.
I slept for like 10 hours. I never slept that long.
I literally told Abigail, I was like, I'm not mad. But at the same time, I was like, I low-key wanted to backhand him in that minute because of course he slept good. You weren't up all night.
But okay, first of all, okay, go ahead.
I shook it off. But I just wasn't expecting that. Like, I knew he slept good. But when you were like... Oh, I feel like you
were trying to set me up because you never asked how well I sleep. Well, you do every now and then.
When he said I slept good, I was like, okay, that's fine. And then he was just like had to like gas it up. You were just like, oh yeah, that was the best sleep I got in years. I was like, trying to set me there's up. No way. And so then I found it funny. I told her.
I went all the way into it. I was like, bro,
I was okay when you're like, oh, I slept good. I was like, okay, yeah, he looked like he's so good. But then you started like really like going in the details of the sleep. I was like, okay, like now you're tripping.
That was some good sleep.
And so, then I was telling Abigail, I was like, what I noticed, I was like, yeah, he knew not to ask me how I slept because he sure didn't respond to the question. You sure did not ask me. Man.
Because I woke up at like 3 and I heard what was going on. I was like, well, she got it. You know, I'm going to just knock it back out. And it was 8. And I was like, well, here we go.
Chunky Man was tripping.
I had like a good 10. And I always want to caveat. Sometimes I'd be up until like 1 or 2 in the morning, not necessarily with the kids, but working wise. And that's usually on the usual basis. Like I'm up to 1 and 2 in the morning.
But you don't have to do that though.
No, but I do. I do, but I don't. I choose to because I want to get ahead of my next day.
Is that your preferred work schedule?
A little bit. I wouldn't say preferred. It's just what I got to do sometimes, necessarily. So I don't know. Me too. But it was some great sleep. But I appreciate you for doing things like that. That's a good example. Yeah, like you're up 3 times a day. Like a lot of times you don't even bother me. Like whenever like Elijah.
You're a heavy sleeper.
Well, that too.
That's another job too. So I'm better off just taking care of him.
All right, well, let's get back. But I think. What do you think about couples starting business together? Did you know actually before you answer that, 44% of couples that get into business together get a divorce? Really? Yeah. How do you feel about it?
Surprised by that. Yeah. I'm actually very surprised, but I'm not surprised at the same time. You said 44% of couples. I
looked up 2 stats. Now, you know I'm sure it's either 37 or 44, but I want to say
I'm going to try to make the math. So they say half of all couples who get married divorced anyways. Right? And I think that number has actually increased, I'm pretty sure, especially since COVID. Yeah. So we're probably talking 50-55. So almost half of that half splits up. They have businesses together.
I don't know about all that, but okay. I just know about 44%. Right, I'm thinking too hard. I just 44% of the couples that go into business together.
Okay, so I am thinking too hard. Okay, yeah, end up in divorce. I personally
that seems weird to me.
Don't find it intimidating just because we're not really selfish or greedy people. Mm-hmm. I could see it adding stress to the marriage, so I feel like that's why people do. Yeah, and if money is a big reason for why people split, then it makes sense. Mm-hmm. My best guess is maybe it turns into like a whole like, well, I'm doing more of the work type of deal. Mm. And you're not really trying. Then that turns into, well, I work hard on our marriage, period. Yeah. You don't try there, and so I'm sure other things trickle into the business. Or for example, you're going to get into arguments in your marriage that could prohibit somebody from wanting to do a task that they needed to like lock down a deal or something. Yeah. People can just be petty. So, I feel like a lot of people maybe have a hard time separating like, this is work and this is my marriage.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like it's one of 2 things, and maybe. One's going
to turn to the boss.
Yeah. But so is that bad?
Not necessarily. Like, I feel like because I'm more focused on the kids,
right?
You take on more of our work.
I think it's more.
We do this podcast together.
I think it's more of our roles, right? Yeah. So I think it's one, communication, like understanding. So I think I'm developing this more as like we're being married and I'm doing my business. I honestly almost treat our relationship like a business, and I'll explain because it sounds bad. It sounds bad. But let me explain.
Bad. Doesn't sound romantic.
So, like when you're having a business, you have to have, typically you have a team that works with you. You call them staff, you call them team, whatever you want to call them, right? And so a lot of times bosses, the head honcho person, they pay the, staff or team's payroll, right? Yep. And so there's one boss that says like, they better be happy I'm paying them for their job, right? And just be grateful. Uh-huh. And there's another boss that says, I'm happy that you're working for me because you're helping me produce my vision that I have for my business.
And I gotta have you.
And it's more appreciative.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm transitioning that to relationship wise, I'm not gonna say, hey, I'm working from 12 to 12 or 7 to 4, right? And I'm gonna come back home and I say, like, hey, I'm looking for that appreciation from my spouse, right? Mm-hmm. Like, say, hey, look, I worked all these hours. Like, you're not going to, like, shower me with love, show any of my love affections or anything like that. Instead, I'm going to come back home and say, like, hey, I'm appreciative for what you do that I was at work. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, you're taking care of the kids. You're taking home and cleaning. You're taking home and cooking. Mm-hmm. I'm appreciative that you're allowing me to pursue my career that I'm trying to do, because you're taking care of what I can't do when I'm over here.
Yeah.
So I think that, in the same sense,
team.
Yeah, it's a team thing. So when I say communication wise, I feel like we have to learn each other's communication wise just as much as we learn like how to communicate like as entrepreneurs with other individuals.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's expectations too, because some couples, for example, like you said, like a lot of times the kids do fall on the woman. Some husbands might feel like they might not see it as the wife is trying to help by keep them out the way so the husband can focus on work.
Yeah.
They might see it as like neglect to the business. Like, oh, well, she doesn't even like help me with the business stuff. But in the wife's mind, it's like, you wouldn't get anything done if I didn't keep these kids occupied.
Exactly.
So, she might think she's helping. He might think she's being neglectful. And, I don't think either one is wrong. I mean, maybe the wife is neglecting it to a certain extent, but it's not intentional. It's just so his part can be done, because maybe without him doing it, the wife can't, for his attention split, money will come in a lot slower versus the husband who can.
And that's one thing that the wives usually focus on is like, hey, like who's paying these light bills? Who's paying this house bill? Who's like paying for the groceries?
Yeah.
The money got to be in order. And so,
me personally, I don't want to speak for most. I'm not trying to be responsible for the lights and the kids.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll help, but no one wants that full responsibility.
I also think that part of the communication part of it is they don't know how to do it, and it leads into arguments within that business. And so,
well, yeah, because you're stressed, so you might not have the nicest presentation of your concerns. So I can definitely see that being an issue. So
how do you feel? Because we argue, even though popular demand seems, or popular opinion doesn't seem like that we argue a lot. We definitely argue. How do you feel? Because we're still working on it, of course. But how do you feel like our best solutions are with kind of handling debates, arguments about certain topics, so it doesn't fall into like on our kids or even to the next day type of thing? For me personally, side, like, what do you feel like you do?
What do I feel? You feel like
what do you do like to kind of defuse situations?
Well, I try to think before I speak.
You're an internal thinker, not like an outward.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. There was a time.
I would say I try to be mindful of what I say before I speak. And even, I don't want to say postpone, but for example, let's say like we try to record on Saturdays.
I think we're good with saying, hey, if we need a break right now, just say we need a break and we'll come back to it later. Like, if you tell me you like, just give me a break, we'll talk about it later, I'm going to trust in you, I'm going to stop right then. Typically, I stop right then. And I was like, okay, let's put this on break, but best believe we're gonna talk about this later.
And I feel like when it comes to work, we try to record Saturdays, for example. If Saturday is just like a day we're not getting along well, just record Sunday. You know what I mean? Like, just don't try to handle work in the moment in an already stressful situation.
True.
I just feel like that's not wise, and you're not going to get your best end result.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like a lot of your per se attitude or issues that are going on are going to reflect in your business, and that's one thing you don't want to happen.
So we might have already said, no, I don't think we addressed this.
Go ahead.
So you mentioned dating at the beginning, because we've been talking a lot about marriage these past few minutes.
Yeah. So we're talking about single people right now.
Yeah, for single people.
I think they need the most help.
God seeing you as single, that is.
Yeah.
Single. When, trying to word this without stepping on toes.
Go ahead, step on them. Stop.
When should you throw in the towel with your relationship? So let me finish. You see where I'm going?
I don't know yet. I'm gonna see.
Gasp for air. So when should? Because I know with women, like, we have these concerns, because the expectation is that the husband provides, or that even your boyfriend does. Like, if you can't pay for a date, then it's a red flag.
Yeah.
But when should women throw in the towel? I want to know from a man's perspective.
Throw in the towel.
Throw in the towel, like quit, break up with him.
Oh.
If you're dating a guy who claims he's like wants to start a business,
that's hard to really determine on people, because
let's say he doesn't work a 9 to 5, nothing, just solely dove into the business, and he's working, but nothing's coming in yet, and it's been a good like 6 months to a year. He's still struggling.
Dating.
What should you
You're
do?
dating them, right? Well, what were they doing before they were dating? The same thing?
Maybe either the same thing, or maybe he was working a job and he quit.
Okay. So tough. When should the women? I don't even know how
Those
to answer
men
this.
often get labeled as bums.
That's because they don't want to work.
No, but what if you truly are trying and business is just not coming in?
Okay, so if that person stays, they're a writer all day long, you should cherish them. When should they give up? I don't know. I think that's more of like you got to see the vision with them. If you don't see the vision with them and you don't want to stick along for the ride.
What are some qualities of like hustler, no money's just happened to be coming in because this isn't working? Because sometimes it takes you a few times to get your business right. Like sometimes you have to mess up a few times. That's part of the process.
Yeah.
You know, that was actually a video I just watched. But she said when you start a business, like you're going to fail.
Yeah.
And you're going to try several times.
Yeah.
And it might fail and nothing's coming in, but you're trying, like you're working towards it.
Like me.
So
you stayed with me.
Yeah. I wouldn't say you failed though, it's just a slow start, but I wouldn't say that's a fail.
I failed. Where's my camera at? Over here? I failed.
I didn't see this fail. I saw a slow start.
When I was asking to do real estate back.
The only time I really saw you fail was when you were doing like the door knocking thing, and after like 3 people, you were like, "That's it, I'm back."
I failed many times.
Other than that,
that was when we were married.
Maybe you haven't shared. Right? I think we had like just gotten married for like a week or something. Yeah. But maybe you haven't shared a lot of failure with me. But I just saw that your business was getting off to a slower start. But I know it's not a business where you're going to make money the next day after getting your LLC either, though.
Yeah.
So, what are some qualities of like bum? Like you're just a bum, or versus you dating a man who has this goal to be self-employed or entrepreneur, but things just aren't falling in place yet. Like, how can you differentiate? For those who are dating,
I would say a man that is consistent with his business, meaning, day in, day out, regardless of the results that he produces, he's going to get back in there and still work the same hours and the same work ethic that he had the day before, if not better. Okay. Him focusing on getting 1% better every day is what I say. I feel like that's a start to good qualities. A person that is, I don't want to say self-motivated, but is in his Bible, right? Is always reading the word to kind of get more motivation to, keep going, to follow his journey that God put him in. So faith-based men, that's right there. That's a starting recipe for a fire relationship. Regardless of the outcome, if he has a woman right there by his side, I think that's really good. But honestly, what I'm seeing a lot nowadays is a lot of men are like, "Hey, I'm focused on my business. I'm not focused on a relationship." Like they don't know how to. They don't know how to.
What if they're just not ready?
That's what they say, but at the same time, they know.
Not always gonna be ready.
But you're not ready to start a business either, right? You're not always ready to start a business, but you can, right?
So
you got to work your way up to it.
All right, so it's okay to jump into a business when you're not ready. But you should jump into a relationship even though you're not ready?
I'm not saying you should jump into a relationship. Like, only go when you're ready to do that.
Yeah.
You go only start a relationship, but don't let anybody...
But you're saying you might not have everything together for a business.
Yeah. And it's okay to start that way.
I see what you're saying, but it's okay to get into a relationship.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay to start.
Yeah, as long as your intentions are in the right place and you're wasting nobody's time.
Exactly. Well, I mean, that's a whole different story. I'm just saying, like, that's
intentionally.
That's that person. Like, of course, don't waste anybody's time.
I mean intentionally. Like, don't go in like, I know I don't want to marry her, but I'm a date anyway. Like,
yeah, it's like going to a business. Like you're saying, I just want to go ahead and start something, but I don't care to make any money. What's the point of doing that?
I would say that's wild.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's the same thing. I just think that right now they're more focused on building their business up, but not building up their relationship as far as trying to understand how to be a man that is not a bum, right? Or somebody that's not perspicuous.
I need a better word than bum.
He's bum. I don't know if bum's a good word either, actually. But
it's not.
Yeah.
It's just slacker.
Yeah. Let's go with that. Let's go with slacker.
I was trying to come up with the
so I mean, yeah. So as far as for single people, I think if anything, they should, prioritize, maybe doing a little bit of both. I just don't think they should cancel out saying, "Hey, I'm not." Okay, so what do you think about people that are not on their level as far as
what do you mean?
Entrepreneurship and everything like that? If they're not on their level, should they
like financially or mindset?
Well, both. That's almost one and the same. Yeah.
So you're talking about people who are like entrepreneurs or self-employed who are doing well financially, correct?
Yes.
And them dating someone who's like struggling financially.
Struggling No, I don't want to say struggling, just not on their level as far as finances.
So you're struggling, or you just make less.
If I'm not like making $1 million, I'm not struggling.
So you're making less.
Yeah.
Than the person. I mean, I feel like I saw a YouTuber who said it well. She is like a 6-figure YouTuber, like pretty well known, and her perception is, because she said she's been asked that, like, does she have to date someone who makes this what she makes? And she was like, no, not necessarily, as long as you spend your money wisely. So I feel like that should be the rule in general. Like, you don't have to make what I make, but, don't be a fool, because you can make what I make and be stupid.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the number doesn't really matter.
I feel like, maybe you can answer. I don't know. Like, let's go to married people then, right? And say your husband, me, is out at these events and things like that, doing their thing with other people of the opposite sex, in that same kind of venture. Would you feel like insecure at all?
It's a whole different question.
Well, I'm saying like at the status that I'm at, and then
not necessarily. I feel like in a marriage situation, you should trust your spouse.
Yeah.
So, I do feel like if you are the one in the marriage who is doing business and you are encountering all these people of the opposite sex, you do need to establish that trust.
Was there ever a point that you were like feeling like insecure?
No.
Good.
But I'm just saying for other people, like, don't be on no weird stuff. Like, for example, we do the podcast. I know you shouldn't be you wouldn't invite another chick over here to do a podcast without me at the house.
I tell you every time.
Like, that's a bad. Well, I mean, I'm always here.
Well, that too.
I'm saying you wouldn't do it without me being here.
Yeah.
So, like, that's something that should be done.
Yeah.
You wouldn't invite anybody over at 10 p.m. Hey, so and so, she's gonna come record. Record what?
Yeah.
Like, no. Like, just being considerate.
Yeah.
So just because your spouse isn't gonna say anything, don't try to disguise it all as business either. Or even if you're not disguising, just don't be stupid and just be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go meet my, one of my, it's not a coworker, I don't know what word to use.
Yeah.
My business partner or
whatever.
some client, at a steak dinner on Friday night, 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Like, it's giving date. So just, you can't go to brunch.
Yeah.
Just be smart.
I think the best ways, as far as like the person that's in that position, is like saying, don't put yourself in those situations where like something like that could happen.
Especially, but if you work together, because we're talking about love and business, I don't know why your spouse wouldn't come anyways.
I leverage you a lot by bringing you to the events because a lot of times like you're able to even see like how does this person have a conversation with them, like maybe it's their wife, their girlfriend, maybe another person that's involved with them. You at least get to hear that person talk, like, hey, yeah, he's actually a good guy.
In most cases, I feel like the women you have worked with were also married, and also brought their husband.
Exactly.
So I mean, like, luckily, most people seem to have a similar mindset.
Typically,
like, you have your family, here's mine.
Yeah.
So.
And we bring the kids too. We bring everybody.
Yeah, so it works out.
Yeah. So just by not putting yourself in those kind of situations where something like that can even come up. Like, I'm not going to the clubs to meet one of the talk over some massage contracts. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna go out to Vegas. Sounds
like you got to get finessed.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna go out to Vegas with the boys, the bros. I love them. I'm not gonna go take out a vacation to a place that's called Sin City. And do my thing there without my wife there. So it's just certain situations you want to put yourself in.
Gifts.
Yeah.
Like,
don't matter how strong you are.
Client, like a diamond bracelet just to say thank you. And your wife's bracelets from Amazon. Like that.
All right.
That's insulting.
Yeah, true.
insulting. So just there's just some parameters, but people don't think about that.
Yeah,
like we're laughing, but some people who especially tend to be like overly nice would do something like that and see nothing wrong with it.
I wish I would. A diamond bracelet to be nice. For what? Ain't no being nice with that.
So
you were looking for ulterior motives with that.
I don't know.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that was some really good facts as far as how to balance your life and your business, and how to healthy communication with arguments. And what I actually wonder, like, why did debating ever come out of schools, or are they still in schools, like the debating thing?
I've never taught at a school debates class.
I think that's so healthy to do, especially at a young age.
And like with me teaching English, there's often like activities where we can include debates.
Yeah.
So it's not frowned upon.
I think that's so great to have, because it's like it's teaching at a young age how to have an argument, but in a healthy way.
It's needed.
Yeah, it's definitely needed.
They struggle.
Yeah, because that's where you get
but
all
they enjoy
those.
it too, though.
You get all those kind of, what's those?
When I was in school,
what
I took like the hardest class in my life. It was harder than some of my college classes.
What?
It was like AP math. World. No, it was AP World History.
Okay.
And this class was harder than some of my college classes.
Really?
For sure, yes. I don't know if my teacher was like an ex-college professor or what, but we have a textbook with the tiniest words, no pictures, and we had to handwrite all of our notes on our own. Like, in public school, usually they give you like some fill-in-a-blank notes or something. Yeah. Now, this was my junior year of high school, but no, he required us to take our own handwritten notes. We had to just catch it. He didn't write that much on the board. You just had to listen and note take. And he graded it. And then we had multiple choice tests, but they had 5 options or not 4. And I suck at taking tests, so that sucked. But anyways.
I was like, what did it have to do?
I say all that to say we had to do debates in his class.
Okay, got you.
And what really sucked was he assigned us what we were debating. We didn't get to choose.
Yeah.
I think we had to be inventors. Mm-hmm. And he just assigned you what you were going to invent. And mine was penicillin. And I'm allergic to penicillin. You are. So I had to go debate on why this invention was your heart great. Wasn't really in it. I made it to the second round. Oh, I did good. Actually, I made it a lot farther than I thought I would. Shut up, yeah. But that was hard. But it was a great skill, though. Like, it was, like, I really had to think outside the box. I was like, I can't even use this product. And I really had to debate on.
I think we should.
I kind of cheated, though, because my dad's a lawyer.
Yeah. We should incorporate that into the school or the kids teaching one day, not anytime soon. I don't need no 5-year-old debating with me.
No. The debate, why?
Yeah.
Why?
That's about all she got. But I'm sorry. So about debating arguments, how to handle those things, communication between our spouses, how to have that mindset of I cherish you in our relationship and your role that you play in our family and in our business and vice versa. I think those are all really good cues to kind of handle love and business at the same time. We even threw some things about some single stuff.
You can be in love and single.
In love and single. In love. Can you? Yeah, I'm sure you can.
I mean, don't you fall in love when you're single and then you get married?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. You definitely can. It just sounded a little weird.
Single and in love.
Is it anything that you feel like you had to isn't that you feel like you had to teach me how to do better in our relationship, kind of to handle also our business? I guess not necessarily our business too, but just something you had to teach me to get better at, to kind of understand you better.
I feel like you've kind of taught yourself a little bit. I think I had to maybe emphasize, and I think it's still an ongoing thing, but emphasizing like the budgeting and paying things on time. Yeah. I feel like you were more relaxed, especially going to the marriage, like, oh, we'll pay for it. And I'm like, no, like, we're paying for it today. Like, just get it over with. So I think it's just, like, convincing you to adopt some of my habits. Yeah. Like, paying for
rubbing off on me
immediately. And it's still a work in progress, but, time management.
Time management, yeah, absolutely.
I struggle with time management, too, but you low-key worse than me.
I am.
I struggle, but you, yeah.
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 I don't know how to compare.
It's catching up to me. I'm getting a little old now, so
But I struggle in time management too, though.
So. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say. I don't know how much you struggle in it.
I'm not good at it. I've just. But I think I've just had to become more disciplined because I have like the kids often and stuff. So
yeah, I think that kind of plays into the factor. But you're not only in your time; you're with the kids' time.
So I think I've just been like forced to kind of figure it out. But that's actually not a skill of mine.
Yeah.
So.
I think what I've had to. I hate the word teach or educate, but that sounds like I'm. Like, but like I guess what's the word? Cultivate. Let's use that word. You to understand me better is more so of it takes we all have our roles. I feel like that like I feel like my role is to provide, not in a condescending way, but like that's part of my routine in our family is to do that. So I would need time to do those type of things. So it's not necessarily time that I want to have away from you, but it's more so that time that I gotta put in over here so that way I can have more time with you guys. And I think over the time you definitely understood that more and more, and you've seen the fruit of it. So I think that helps understanding too. I think that's honestly the only thing though.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for you. So yeah, you definitely fit my bubble of what I'm looking for. And yeah.
That's so sweet.
All right.
What did you want to say?
No, nothing. I mean, it's good. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Sweet. Such a good nut sleep.
Trying to make me blush. Like, yeah. Anywho, is that you had anything else?
No, I'd rather leave it off there.
Yeah.
You can leave it up on gassing me up.
All right. With that being said, guys, I hope this episode helped you guys with understanding how to balance love in your business and how to collectively, if you wanted to get into business with your spouse, these are some advice that we have experience with, and maybe we can, help you out there. I also saw another podcast family doing something similar to this, the Love Entrepreneurs. If you want to check them out, they're.
Oh, you know them personally?
No.
Oh,
you know them?
No.
Oh, have you heard of them?
No.
Oh well,
you shouting them out like
I know. I just heard about them, and so like
okay.
it kind of balances into this conversation.
Check them out too.
Yeah. Definitely go watch those guys. And
who is it? The
Lovepreneurs.
Lovepreneurs. Okay.
Yeah, Lovepreneurs. Don't clue over their name. What's up, Mama? Oh, just appreciate you for checking on us. You okay?
We're almost done.
Okay, we're almost done.
Give us 2 minutes.
Get out of here, man. So with that being said, last thing I want to make sure you guys go ahead and click on the description below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And also go ahead and click the link to our website, theblessedandbusy.org, and go ahead and sign up so you can get a pre-order on our new clothes dropping and take a look at them and have early release. This is gonna be a fire drop. I already kind of shopped it around and the audience loves it. I plan on getting sold out since we dropped, to be honest with you. I'm only doing a certain amount, and I will be having a giveaway next month on baby girl's birthday. She left. I will be having a giveaway then. That way you guys can kind of check things out. So make sure you go ahead and take a peep at it. Other than that, you guys stay blessed and busy.